with no retreat. Failures never taste the sweet. Science lessons learned in flight. Journey on to endless night. For the stars, we aim so high. The projected kiss goodbye. For science and purple light, we'll keep flying through the light. Rocket launch with hope so grand. EJ's got the master plan. Thrusters burn to reach the moon. In his eye you see the tune. Orbit dreams won't be delayed. Lessons learned from missions made. Kerbal Guide will forge a path to the stars beyond this path. For the stars, we aim so high. The projected kiss goodbye. For science and purple light, we'll keep flying through the light. Rocket launch with hope so grand. EJ's got the master plan. Thrusters burn to reach the moon. In his eye you see the tune. Keep flying through the light.
Okay, I'm back. Just gonna fire up the YouTube stream here and then we'll go. Okay, do we have acquisition of signal over on the YouTube side? Oh. AOS. All right, cool. This is EJ's Falcon, SpaceX Falcon 9 launch coverage for the Worldview Legion 5 and 6 mission, which should be up and running here momentarily. It is a bit foggy on the Cape. Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely foggy. It's definitely foggy out there. Here, take a look. There's a rocket in there somewhere. It is a soup out on the Cape. Range is very froggy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to launch. So the coverage should be coming up here momentarily. So Worldview Legion 5 and 6 are they're two 1,500 kilogram satellites, and they're actually going into low Earth orbit. So this is actually, unfortunately, going to be a return to launch site that we cannot see. We can't see it, which is Northeast trajectory, should be able to see it up the southeast and mid-Atlantic coast. It is clear here. Oh, it's, no, Red Beater, I haven't, but that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go peep that. So, yeah, it's actually pretty clear up here right now. Let me just double check windy. Yep. Yep. It is in fact clean on Cape Cod. Not, well, there's that part, but I'm not there. So, yep. Okay. Okay. All right. And it is definitely froggy down on the Cape over there. How the heck is it foggier in Florida than in San Francisco? Science. Okay. SpaceX is live. Well, other guy, why don't you tell us? Here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's what it's gonna do today, but we ain't gonna see that. Hey, oh, that's pretty good. No, I love this stuff, dude. This is the best.
We are getting ready to launch our MaxR-3 mission from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. While we usually have great views for our launch coverage, and unfortunately for our webcast and those of you joining us from the launch site, we have got a ton of fog today. Well, that's not great for viewing.
Nice.
We do have good news for launch. Weather is green for liftoff, and we are currently tracking less than a 5% chance of weather violation at our target liftoff time of 6:13 p.m. Eastern from Launch Complex 39A. My name is Ronnie Foreman, and I am a senior sales manager here at SpaceX, joining you now from Hawthorne, California. Welcome to our live launch coverage of MaxR-3, SpaceX's 15th mission of
It's really rare
2025.
for it to be this foggy out at the Cape, man.
Today, we're delivering 2 next-generation Worldview Legion satellites to orbit for Maxar intelligence.
Maxer.
SpaceX launched the first set of Worldview Legion spacecraft in May of 2024, and the third and fourth satellites in August 2024. Today's MaxR-3 mission will deliver the final 5th and 6th satellites to complete the first block of Maxar's next-generation Worldview Legion constellation. The additional satellites will ensure that Maxar continues to have the most advanced Earth imaging constellation on orbit for years to come. At T-minus 8.5 minutes, everything is looking good for an on-time liftoff. The range is ready to support, and as I mentioned earlier, the weather continues to be green, despite the fact that we don't have a great view of our launch pad, with less than a 5% chance of violation at our target T0 time. That being said, if for any reason we are unable to launch today, we do have a backup opportunity available tomorrow at 5:42 p.m. Eastern. Now with that, let's take a moment to learn a bit more about the Falcon 9 rocket supporting today's launch.
It's somewhere in there.
Falcon 9 is the world's first orbital class reusable rocket. Reusability allows SpaceX to refly the most expensive parts of the rocket, which in turn drives down the cost of access to space. The two-stage rocket stands 229 feet tall behind that fog and generates more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust at sea level.
Super
The
foggy out
bottom
there,
two-thirds
Baron.
of the vehicle is the first stage, also referred to as the booster.
Yeah.
After liftoff, Falcon 9's first stage accelerates through the thicker parts of the Earth's atmosphere and into space using 9
Sorry, Kat.
Merlin M1D engines. After stage separation, today the booster will land back on Earth at Landing Zone 1, just down the road from the launch pad at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station.
How far is the rocket from the camera? That looked like it was 39A. Let me check next space flight to be absolutely sure. That is 39A. So yeah, the pad deck is right here. And yeah, the rocket's right there. It's kind of, the fixed surface structure is there. You can't even see it. You can barely see the LOX or the GOX cloud. Well, not even GOX, it's just the condensation cloud coming from the vehicle. You can barely see it. At least I get to see a shockwave if it dies. Yeah, okay.
To place multiple payloads into different orbits. Located above the second stage is the payload fairing, which is the large barrel structure at the top of the rocket, which we're getting views of on your screen right now. At 17...
Stage 1, fuel load complete.
Okay.
There's confirmation that we've completed loading fuel on board stage 1. At 17 feet in diameter, that carbon composite payload fairing is what will protect our satellites on their way to orbit today. The two halves are then jettisoned approximately 3 minutes into flight.
How many times have
The
the
fairing
fairings
halves
been
supporting
reused,
today's
Ronnie?
launch are both also flight proven, with one half flying for its 23rd time and the other for its 21st.
What the
After
hell?
separation from the second
Thank you.
stage, both fairing halves will return to Earth again to be retrieved by our recovery ship, Bob, which is currently stationed in the
21 and
Atlantic Ocean.
23 flights on those fairings, man.
Now, while our countdown continues to go smoothly, let's take a look at this short video from our customer, Maxar Intelligence.
In a world of constant change,
Yep, can't do that. The background music that they use will mute the YouTube VOD. Security matters, and timing. Timing is everything. Worldview Legion. 2 successful launches. 4 satellites. Our mission wasn't complete. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 and 6. Up to 15 daily revisits. 6 million square kilometers of secure imagery. Trusted intelligence in near real time. Grass. Rivers. Understanding it. Securing it. Maxer.
Just 4.5 minutes. Falcon
Oh, that was
9 is
great.
making
Yeah.
no issues, and our payloads continue to be healthy. Falcon, there's confirmation that strongback retract has started.
Oh, yeah.
The strongback, or the transporter erector, you can just see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen there. That's the large
That's
truss
this thing.
structure next to Falcon 9. And we've been using that in part to help load propellants onboard Falcon 9 since T-minus 35 minutes. We're targeting to finish that fuel loading at T-minus 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, again, the range is ready to
There it
support,
is.
and weather is looking good
Nice
for
weather
our
guy, thank you.
liftoff time today. But if for some reason we do not launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow at 5:42 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
In just about 10 seconds, we'll have the TE fully reclined away from Falcon 9. The first stage is connected to a launch mount at the base of the TE, and that structure is hinged to allow that retraction away from the rocket in preparation for launch. We've already heard it called the strongback by the launch team over the nets. We use the TE, or the strongback, both to roll the rocket out to the pad and raise it into its vertical launch position. The TE is also what we use to route the vehicle's fluids, power, and telemetry umbilicals from the ground systems to the rocket and the payload until liftoff. Now, at this point in the countdown, both the first and second stages are
Henry.
nearly fully loaded
Hey,
with
23
1
month
million
resub.
pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. Both the first and second stage should
It's
finish loading
the
propellant
boost back
about a
burn,
minute
Archie.
apart
It's
from each
one
other.
engine, then 3 engines, and then down to 1, and then it stops. Should be coming up here on stage 2
We're standing by
RP1
for that
load.
confirmation on board stage 1.
Stage 1, locks load complete.
Is that
Right on
stage 1
schedule.
locks?
And we are expecting that fuel completion call for stage 2 at about T-minus 2 minutes.
Yeah.
This light venting that you can hear right
Okay.
now
Okay.
is totally normal.
That was Pogo. That's what he said.
We do periodically vent the chilled gas from above the surface of the LOX tank overboard to maintain pressure in the tank as needed.
Hey, Yannick.
Ordinarily, during a launch, you can see those white clouds form around the vehicle, but today the best indication that we have that everything is moving ahead smoothly is, of course, the countdown and timeline at the bottom of your screen and those healthy sounds from Falcon 9.
Should be going to internal power here momentarily.
Stage 2, locks load complete.
There's the call
There's
for
that
stage 2 locks.
confirmation that liquid oxygen loading is complete on board our second stage. The next major milestone we're standing by for will be at T-minus 60 seconds, when Falcon 9 will enter startup mode. This means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers will take over the launch countdown. Then, just inside of T-minus 2 seconds, we'll light those M1D engines for liftoff. At this time, the two Worldview
It's not
Legion
raining, that's
satellites
just the
continue to be healthy,
water
and the
being
Falcon
topped
9
off
team
for the
is
sound
tracking
suppressor.
No issues on the rocket.
Ground gas closeouts.
Ground gas closeout is started.
Confirmation of gas closeouts from our mission control.
So what's going on here? We're not going to be able to see it, but they're evacuating the liquid oxygen out of the transporter erector. The erector structure that's next to the rocket carries the fuel and oxidizer lines for the second stage. At T-minus 20 minutes, they pump liquid oxygen up slowly to make sure that it doesn't evaporate and make an anti-geyser, right? And then they start fuel loading right after that, and then they just closed out. So what they're doing is they're pumping nitrogen up the line and have a vent open at the top, right? And that pushes all of the gaseous oxygen out. It would leave a huge cloud, but it's there somewhere. Falcon 9 has gone into startup here.
Just under T-minus 40 seconds, all systems are go for the launch of Falcon 9 and our two Worldview Legion satellites.
The Merlin 1D has
30 seconds.
been around since Falcon 9 1.0. Sea Kraken. A, B, and C were 1A was Falcon 1. B and C didn't work. 15. Pad deluge systems is armed. T-minus
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
sound suppressor should be
5,
turning on now.
4, 3, 2,
Ignition.
1. Liftoff. Go Maxar. Go Falcon.
Okay. We got good telemetry.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
It did take off. There's a good onboard from the first stage. Vehicle will now do its roll program. It's like nigh impossible to
So
tell
in
that
case
that
you
vehicle
are
is
just
rolling.
joining us, we are 32 seconds and counting, and Falcon
Should
9
get a good
has
call for
successfully
power and
lifted off
telemetry.
from Launch
Oh,
Complex
nice
39A
shot.
at Kennedy Space Center, carrying two Worldview Legion satellites for Maxar intelligence. In just a few seconds, we'll throttle the
Power and
engine.
telemetry nominal.
See?
Confirmation there that everything's on the right track.
Vehicle should
And
get a
right now
call
we're
for
preparing to
supersonic
throttle
here
the engines
momentarily.
down ahead of max Q, or the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure on the rocket.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Good.
With that call out,
Next
we know
call.
that Falcon 9 is moving faster than the speed of sound.
Next call should be maximum dynamic pressure, which is peak compression load on the vehicle.
Max Q.
And there's confirmation of max Q.
They
Now,
thro-
during ascent, we tilt the
They throttle down the engines on Falcon 9 because there's a point when you're in the atmosphere where you just can't push against the air fast enough. Falcon 9 can't move the air out fast enough out of the way, so they throttle the engines down to keep dynamic air pressure off the front of the vehicle. Basically, you don't want to accordion your rocket on the way up. That would be bad. That's bad for it. But actually, it's way up there now, nice and clear. And once you got up above those clouds,
you can keep an eye on that stage 1 telemetry in the bottom of your screen as we move toward that target insertion speed. Next, we'll have several events coming up in quick succession, and we should hear and see all of those called
Yeah,
out by mission
pretty cool,
control,
Grayson.
starting with main engine cutoff, or MECO.
This is a
then
return to
stage
launch site,
separation,
Dean. It
SVS1,
sucks because it's
first
cloudy
stage boost
at the
back burn,
landing
and
site.
fairing separation. MECO is where we will shut down all 9
Sun
M1D
reflecting
engines
off the
on board the
bottom
first
of the
stage,
fairing right
followed
there. See
quickly
that?
thereafter by stage separation,
Dude,
when the
beast
first
mode.
and second stages of Falcon 9 separate from one another.
That's main engine
and then we'll
cutoff.
turn on
Main
the
engine cutoff.
MVAC engine for the first time.
confirmed.
Falcon 9's firing its thrusters, turning the first stage around. There's a good upper stage ignition.
MVAC ignition.
Oh!
Back, start up.
Oh! Watch. Oh!
So we have great views on your
that's
screen
so
right now,
kick-ass.
and confirmation.
Oh,
from mission
that's so
control that
cool.
we had MECO, stage sep, and
Look, you
SVS1.
can see the second
We
stage
also
up there.
heard the call out, and on the left-hand side of your screen, we have great views of our boost back burn, which is what's
That's
currently
pretty
putting
good,
the
man.
booster on a trajectory
That's pretty
to head
neat.
back toward Earth and touch down at landing zone 1.
That's sick.
Next up, the fairing will jettison away from the second stage, as it's no longer needed now that we're in space, and the payloads no longer need that aerothermal protection.
Stand by for fairing separation.
Separation confirmed.
Boop.
Right on schedule. Those fairing halves are now headed back to Earth to be recovered by our ocean recovery shuttle dock.
Gyrocam is real. Oh, there's the fairings. That's the second stage. 2 fairings falling away.
Stage 1, boost back, shutdown.
And
Okay.
there's confirmation of our stage 1 boost back burn shutdown. Now, at just about T plus 3.5 minutes into today's mission, the next major milestone we're standing by for is our first stage entry burn. Getting some great views on the left-hand side of your screen of that grid fin deployment right now, too. Those hypersonic grid fins are the primary mechanical mechanism by which we steer the rocket on its way back to Earth.
Nominal trajectories.
Nominal trajectories there for both our first and second stages. Again, in case you are just joining us, right now our first stage is on its way back to landing zone 1 at Kennedy Space Center, while stage 2 is on its way to orbit to deploy 2 Worldview Legion satellites for our customer Maxar Intelligence. To start the entry burn at about T plus 6 minutes, we'll relight the 3 M1D.
What version of
engines, 3
KSP?
the
I'm
M1D,
gonna tell my kids it's the KSP 3.
starting with the center
So
engine,
what's going on with the first stage there is that you're seeing it outgas nitrogen. The nitrogen thrusters are turning the first stage around, so it basically is pointed in the right direction for landing. And what's happening is when you outgas nitrogen into a vacuum, it goes from really cold nitrogen basically to solidification instantly because you're dropping the pressure like it's an instant pressure drop. So your delta P is a shock at that point. So that's why you get some solidification of your nitrogen during outgassing. That's why it looks like it's snowing.
The soot comes from the carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses, and with each flight, the soot builds up a little more on the outside of the vehicle, giving it that flight-proven look.
Oh.
We are standing by with these incredible
mama,
tracking
that's a good
shots
shot.
for that
Look
entry
at
burn
that.
begin at T plus 6 minutes and 11 seconds.
Dude, you can see the engines. How far is that? That thing's 60 miles up. You can see the damn engines. What camera is this? You can see the grid
reusability
fins.
is key to lowering the cost of spaceflight, which enables more investments in
It
critical
is, Hokie.
scientific research. The Falcon 9 first stage supporting today's mission is about to perform this entry burn for the 4th time. And of course, meanwhile, up in space, our stage 2 continues to look good, and we'll keep bringing you those MVAC engine views as we have them.
So here's the best part: supersonic retropropulsion. First stage is going to fire its main engines to slow down, and also keep it in a cool column of gas to protect itself from re-entry heating. You could see the shadow of the booster is...
Stage 1 entry burn, start up.
There's confirmation of entry burn begin.
Never mind. I don't know what I was saying. Oh my word. I mean... Whoa. Whoa.
Stage 1 entry burn, shutdown.
Dude, you can see the freaking engines. What is
Entry
this?
burn shutdown.
What is... Oh, she's flying.
The engines on board
Oh!
the first and second stage are actually pretty similar. They're just optimized.
I gotta remember to go check
The
the
Merlins on the
second
first
stage.
stage are optimized.
I gotta put my
for sea
shoes on.
level, and these
But I don't
achieve
wanna miss the landing either.
190,000 pounds of thrust each during both ascent and descent. At liftoff,
Dude, did
Falcon
you
9
see
first
that
stage
camera?
has thrust
What
greater
was
than
that?
5 747 airplanes at full power. The MVAC engine, which we
Nominal
have
trajectories.
a great view
Apache,
of
you
on
got
the
it in
right-hand
Charlotte?
side of your
All right.
screen, and confirmation there that everything's on a nominal trajectory, has a much wider
Stage
nozzle.
1 transonic.
That wider
No, it's a
nozzle
longer
allows
burn,
us to
Dink.
be
We're okay.
optimized
We're
to
okay.
220,500 pounds of thrust.
Oh,
in the
she's
vacuum
coming in
of
hot.
space.
See those grid fins shaking around?
Stage 2 terminal guidance.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Landing burn. Okay, you guys tell me if it's gonna land. I'm gonna go see if I can see it.
We're hearing that sonic boom of
Stage 1
re-entry.
landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And confirmation that our Falcon 9
MVAC
booster
shutdown.
has touched back down on landing zone 1 at Kennedy Space Center, and that we have had successful MVAC shutdown on board stage 2. This was the 4th launch and landing for this first stage, and this landing marks SpaceX's 404th recovery of a SpaceX orbital class rocket, including
Nominal orbit insertion.
first stage landings for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. And with that confirmation, we also know that stage 2 is on a good orbit up in space. So with that, stage 2 is embarking on its first coast phase, after which the MVAC engine will relight for a second time at about T plus 43 minutes. That will be followed by our first payload deploy today. We're going to take a break and leave you with some nice space tunes, but we'll see you back here in about 30 minutes.
Couldn't see it. Those clouds off of Cape Cod screwed me. There was a landing deer? No way.
Oh, that stage 100
Hold on.
Guidance.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 FTS is safe.
Landing deer. Oh my goodness! Run! Run!
for hearing
Me
that
run!
boom of
Stage 1
re-entry.
landing leg deploy.
Whoa! Yo! Oh, that's... Yeah, I saw the other one go down here, dude. Oh my god. No. No. Oh, that's bad. Oh dear. Yeah, see there's one right behind me right here. See him? Oh no. Keep playing it.
For hearing that sonic boom of
Stage 1
re-entry.
landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And confirmation that our Falcon
Are
9
they alive?
has touched back down on landing zone 1 at Kennedy Space Center, and that we have had successful MVAC shutdown on board stage 2. This was the 4th launch and landing for this first stage, and this landing marks SpaceX's 404th recovery of a SpaceX orbital class rocket, including
Nominal orbit insertion.
first stage landings for Falcon
Yeah,
9
those
and Falcon
those
Heavy.
deer are not no. You got to see supersonic return propulsion from Lakeland. It was epic. That's awesome, man. The deer saw the dinosaur's point of view. Oh, Mutter, look at that. Dude. Yeah, Baron, I see him. Dude, that's the ascent plume. Look at how much the gas is spread out. Oh, that's awesome. SpaceX cooks venison now, I guess too, yeah. That's not great for the deer. Now serving deer jerky. Yeah, it's, you know, it's seared. I can see the second stage from Virginia. Dude, nice pictures. I was looking for that, but there's a freaking cloud. That cloud off the coast of the Cape. WD-40, thanks for the raid, man. Oh, what a great ascent, dude. That's awesome. Can I watch that one more time?
Falcon 9.
Stage 1 landing.
Freaking deer.
Everything's on it.
Guidance.
Stage 1 landing burn.
WD-40's footage was great. Followed it the whole way. Yo, epic launch. Yeah, dude. Really crisp
Stage 2
crisp
FTS
shots,
is
dude.
saved.
Hey, WD-40. Look. Chat showed me this. I tried to go out and see it, but also Bambi is.
We're hearing that sonic boom of
Stage 1
reentry.
landing leg deploy.
The deer is not there. You saw it from South Carolina end zone. Nice.
And confirmation that our Falcon 9
And back
booster
down.
has touched back down on landing zone
Yeah. Oh
1
dear.
at Kennedy Space Center, and that we have had successful MVAC shutdown on board stage 2. This was the 4th launch and landing for this first stage.
Well, the stage came back. That's good. That's gonna be a something moment, dude. Jeez. Question, wasn't this landing burn a little longer than usual? RTLS, dude. So, with an RTLS burn, you're falling technically from a higher height. When they do the boost back, Falcon 9 doesn't like point back directly at the landing site. It kind of points up a little bit, increasing the apogee of its suborbital arc. And it goes up and then basically falls down, and the Earth rotates into position underneath it. If that makes any sense. So you get a little bit of a longer burn. You tend to get a little bit of longer burn with this. I think I saw it on the North Carolina-Tennessee line. Nice, Trey. Okay, so they're in a coast right now. Nice, O-Force. There you go. You need to see those camera shots of the first stage again? Okie dokie. I can do that.
And the stage 2.
Here, let's
Shut. Cut
Jeez.
off for Miko.
I want to see this
Then
part.
stage separation, SES
35 minutes for the first
stage
coast. Got it.
Backburn and fairing separation. Miko,
Dude, whatever cameras they were using, I think we're looking at a complete optics upgrade. Because they, dude, we could see, when that thing was well above the Kármán line, you could see the grid fins in the engines. That's not, I haven't seen that in a little bit. Oh. Oh, that's so killer, dude. You see how Falcon 9's kind of pointed, the first stage is pointed up. You see, like you would be able to see the Earth here. Or no, scratch that. Reverse what I'm trying to say. This camera's, the way the camera is, sorry. It's basically this way. It's not like parallel to the ground. So that gives you a higher apogee of it. At least I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. There goes the fairings. T plus 4314 for relight. Beautiful visuals down on the Cape. Yeah, the grid fins look like they're old, the old Falcon 9 grid fins because of the camera. No, Panta, there's a cloud. The clouds off the coast of Cape Cod screwed me. Couldn't see it. I haven't seen a rocket launch, like, with my own eyes from my house in a long time, dude. It's just always cloudy. Oh, yeah, Mikkel, for sure. What I want to see is up here. Dude, look. Okay, the stage is 105 kilometers up. That's 65 miles that way. 65 miles up and you can see the grid fins. Now, granted, the lighting makes it a little bit easier, but you can also make out the engine nozzles from here. That's 62 miles. I don't remember ever being able to see that. I just saw this launch from another streamer's house. You sub what distant? Spurp sub, I'm in Massachusetts. I rarely get to see them. But if it is a clear night, if they go up the coast for like a Starlink mission or a mission like this, I can see them. But it wasn't tonight. It's too foggy. Damn clouds. I was about to say you could see the shadow of the booster through the plume of the gas thrusters, but right when I said that, the supersonic retro propulsion happened. But since it's an RTLS, you could see they had the tracking cameras on it, and it, man, here, watch, just watch. Oh, 1 engine to 3 engines, and then they'll switch back to 1 here for a second, and the plume will look like a circle again. See? Back to 1. Back to 0. Oh, man. Oh, dude. Bro. What the hell? What? Did you see that thing take a right at Albuquerque? Yeah, Cosmos SkyMed. I remember that. Dude, yeah, you could see all the dang nozzles. Look, you could see all of them. Unreal. Saw the jellyfish from Virginia. Could the shot of staging have been from a WB-57? No, it was a tracking camera. If that was a tracking camera, we would have seen, it would be for a, sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm all right, I swear. We would have seen a flight plan for the WB-57, Bill. Good question, though. No, that was from the ground. It was from the ground. Just. Now I'm yawning. Well, it's because you guys made me yawn. Hey, EJ, do you know these cameras pick up some... Do you know those cameras pick up some nice deer jerky? Oh, yeah, we got venison tonight, boys and girls. Falcon 9 is my favorite glider. I love how the booster speeds up after entry burn for a few seconds, just as the air gets dense enough to slow it down again. Is EJ covering the Soyuz launch? No one's covering the Soyuz launch. It's Plesetsk, because they never stream that, Rob. They're launching from the Plesetsk Cosmodrome. That's basically their Vandenberg. So, stream launches aren't really, like, a thing. Tracking camps are provided by the USAF since they're already at the Cape to support the Dark Eagle test launch campaign at the Cape. Dark. Yeah, dude, I remember the Cosmo SkyMed stuff, dude. That, Cosmo SkyMed was the, dogleg polar out of the Cape, so you got a shot of staging from the side. It was similar to Salcom 1B. Dude. Oh, that's so sick, dude. Oh my goodness. I forgot about this, man. I remember, but I forgot about that. That was a trip, man. There's probably about as good of a shot of staging from the ground as you're gonna get. Come on. Come on! Crazy. Anyway, let's get back. They're in a coast right now. Hello? SpaceX? Hello? You remember what led to the first scrub of Cosmo SkyMed? Science? That's another one of my favorite Falcon 9 launches. The ground tracking shots are unrivaled. Unbelievable. Oh, no wonder I didn't see it, guys. This is not 51. This is not 50-degree inclination. Oh, yeah, geez. No wonder I didn't see. This is a 45-degree inclined. This is 45-degree inclination. So, if they launched into a 50-degree inclination, so something like Starlink or where the ISS is going, the track wouldn't be over basically across the base of the Iberian Peninsula right here. The track or the tilt of the orbit, well, orbital inclination is what it's called, would be basically parallel to the boot of Italy right here. See that? They would fly up over Shannon, Ireland, over southwest England, and then basically over mainland Europe right here, and the track would be going this way. It would be steeper, right? Like the track, instead of being like this, would be like that. Right? So if this was launching on a 45-degree angle, I wouldn't have seen it anyway. So what do I mean by a 45-degree? What does that mean? So you heard me throw around some words there. Orbital inclination is what I'm referring to. The ISS is 50 degrees inclined, right? 51.6 if you want to be very, very technical. So what does that mean? That means the point at which you cross the equator makes an angle, right? So the equator's kind of right here. It's right here. So if the equator is right here, see this angle right here? This one. The angle between that blue line and my arm right here. That's your inclination. Right? So this is a 45-degree inclined orbit. It's a lower inclination than what you'd usually see Falcon 9 fly. Well, that's because it's a customer's payload. Okay? The other thing, well, how can I tell? Well, look. If I put my hand basically right here where the equator is, right? See the angle? the angle we're talking about between that, it's 45 degrees. Like that right there, that's 90, right? 45 degrees inclined. The ISS is 50 degrees inclined. That's why I said the tilt would be a little bit higher and it would be kind of more parallel to Italy rather than kind of converging on the boot. See what I'm talking about? So I wouldn't have been able to see this anyway. It basically launched too far northeast to not, it didn't hug the eastern seaboard like what an ISS launch would. The equator is lower than that. Out of all that, Wiz, that's what you got out of that explanation? Out of all of that? That's what you got? So, okay, we want to be technical. It's like right here. That's what you got out of that? All right. Okay. 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 No, the rest of your explanation was fantastic. Don't compliment me! Oh, wait. No. Yeah, I know the equator's kind of... It's over here. But the problem with this Wiz is that it's out of shot. So I can't be like, hey, the equator's down here. Do you see it? You know, like I gotta put my hand up here. You fool! All right. 2 Worldview satellites and Falcon 9 second stage now moving across. They're into Egypt now. Moving across the Nile River Valley. I put the volume up. Was my question about fairings too dumb to answer? Well, no, I just missed it. Cherokee, what was it, dude? What did you ask? Electro-optical payload in a non-sun synchronous orbit is definitely unique. Yeah, Phil, I saw this and I got really confused. Why does the satellite have a fabric blanket instead of a foil one? What's the difference? It's probably a thermal blanket pop, so it's probably Nomex. Cherokee, what did you ask? Uh-oh. Scrub-a-dub-dub. Nice. Mickle, you're gonna launch a rocket. That's killer. I was wondering if the fairings were self-maneuvering to land close to a predetermined spot. Yes, absolutely. So, okay, the fairings are actually super interesting. So, the first thing you gotta understand is that all fairings have RCS on them. Falcon 9's fairings use thrusters. They have RCS. But that's not just Falcon 9's thrusters. Every fairing has RCS on it. But, Cherokee, the interesting thing is that most fairings, Falcon 9 is the only one that has multiple of these. Most fairings have one thruster. The fairing thrusters are pointed inward at each other. So when the fairing separates, RCS fires. It's basically just compressed gas, right? And shoots the fairing off sideways. That's it. That every fairing has a COPV with gas on board in a pneumatic separator. Every one of them does. SpaceX came up with this very interesting idea a little while back. Why don't we just put more thrusters on our fairings and a small guidance system on them with a parachute? And that's exactly what they did. So the fairings will separate and they kind of stay like this, right? They'll flip over using their thrusters and they'll reorient to put the outside air shell of the fairing, right, into your windward flow, which means the fiery bit. The fairing will re-enter and the thrusters will keep it on an even keel. When it gets through the atmosphere, it'll deploy. It actually doesn't deploy a parachute, if you really want to know. It deploys a parafoil. Believe it or not. So a parafoil, so a parafoil is like a parachute, but a wing, but not, but almost. It's like half parachute, half wing, right? And the fairings actually will fly. They'll basically just hover around, and they land next to the recovery vessel. SpaceX used to try and catch them with the recovery vessel. That proved to be a little dangerous after one of them crashed into the ship instead of onto the net. Yeah, they stopped doing that. So SpaceX instead opted to make the fairings waterproof instead. So the fairings float really good already. Why not just waterproof the outside of it and make it float like a boat hull? And that's exactly what they did. The fairings will maneuver using those thrusters with the parafoil. They'll maneuver back down and they'll land next to the recovery ship. The recovery ship just has a huge crane on it, and on the end, that's the recovery ship's Bob and Doug. Yeah, that's what they're called. They have a net. Basically, it's like a fishing net almost. They'll scoop the net underneath the fairing and pick the whole thing up and put it down on the deck. Yeah, it's super freaking cool, actually. I have this video on speed dial. It might help you. Sure, man. Yeah, here, Cherokee. I was hoping you'd link this, Baron. Thank you. Or somebody would. So check this out. SpaceX actually did post this. That was the second stage flying by. Here's a shot on board. What are the names of the fairing recovery vessels on the West Coast? Bob is on one coast, Doug is on the other, Dean, as far as I know. So check it out. So if you look right here, right there, Cherokee, there's a COPV bottle. So a COPV is basically a really fancy scuba tank. But there's sets of them on the fairings. There should be 3. You can't really see because of the header, the third here from the player. But yeah, the thruster blocks are right up here. They're up in the corners. But yeah, check that out. So what you're seeing here, see those vents? Those are your positive pressure vents. So on the way up, the air actually has to drain out of the fairing, or else it'll pressurize. We saw that during Starship. The Starship flight where they opened up the payload bay and it depressurized because they didn't have any vents. Interestingly enough, it's not like SpaceX doesn't know about this, right? But check it out. Those vents are allowing some plasma to get through. Now, part of that waterproofing process that I told you about, for waterproofing those fairing, waterproofing, nice. For waterproofing the fairings, they moved the vents to the sides. They're up here above the water line. You can see some of the nose cone is actually ablating right there. That's what those sparks are. It's burning the top of the nose cone, which is why reused fairings from Falcon 9 actually have a bigger, a beefed up thermal protection system on the nose, because it's ablating. You see the front of the fairing, the nose of the fairing is burning off there. That's what those sparks are. Say hello to your mother for me, okay? And then see, look, they deploy a parafoil. The freaking parafoil, and they basically hang glide back to the recovery ships. Baron, thank you for this. Your Southie is showing. I do live on the South Shore, man. What's that about water? Don't worry about it, dude. So, actually, if we go back over here into the cast and we find a shot of... There, see? There you go. You can't see it. It's too damn foggy. The vents for the fairings, instead of being like over there, they're actually right at the crease of the fairings. There they are. You can see them right there. 1 and 2. It's nigh impossible for you guys to see those. But yeah, if you look, the nose cones of these fairings, the thermal protection system up there has been redone a couple of times. See the seam right there? They've redone it because the front of it ablates slightly. But now I know what people are going to say. EJ, how come these don't have like tiles on them or something? Well, okay. If you were wondering that, good question. Hang on, let me just make sure we're caught up. So, fairings are so ridiculously light comparatively to their surface area, they actually slow down fast enough. to not need a thermal protection system. Don't get me wrong, there's still some thermal protective element on the front of the fairings. It gets scorched, they do replacement. They don't need tiles, they don't need an ablator. It does ablate a little bit, but it's not too bad, right? It needs replacement every once in a while. It's not like tiles or a heat shield or whatever. The reason why is because fairings are super light for their size. That fairing can fit a school bus inside of it, guys, or just a Greyhound bus. Pick your city bus, whatever. It's gigantic. You could fit a huge truck in there. They don't weigh very much, dude. I don't know the exact weight of one of the fairing halves, but it's not a lot. It's not more than like an automobile or something, ironically, right? Because of this, the fairings have what's called an extremely low ballistic coefficient, meaning they basically slow them. The whole fairing is like a gigantic speed brake. It slows itself down before it falls too fast into the atmosphere and overheats itself. Yeah, SpaceX figured that out a little while ago, like, I don't know, what was it, like 9 years ago or something? 10 years ago, something like that. They figured that out when their fairings were actually making it back down to the ground. They were well, to the water, but you get the idea. He's like, Mikey, he knows everything. Alex probably does know. Yikes, you bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these. Hey, man, I was trying to get it in at the very end of the video, RC, all right? So it's just like, yikes, you bet, you concur. Boom! So I was like, oh, crap, it's ending. Yikes, you bet, concur. We don't need any more of these. Bye. No, it isn't. So, yeah, the fairings, it would be like, guys, if you had a stone, right, and a piece of paper, and you were on top of a skyscraper, don't do this, and you dropped both of them, what's going to happen? That stone's going to go right down to the bottom, and it's going to hit the ground and probably crack. The piece of paper just... and it'll probably land on the ground pretty much intact. That's fairings versus like a stage falling, you know what I mean? That's how the fairings can get through without any tiles or a heat shield or whatever. It just scorches the outside of it a little bit. It's, once again, really trick stuff. When YouTube Membies. I am working on another thing right now, Dino. Give me some time. I have to get my tax stuff in order with Google's too. Oh boy. Better footage from Biosat 3. Oh. Dude, it's so good. Oh, that's so good. Look, see? This fairing's going a lot faster than the other one in the other video. Look, the sides are ablating. See the sparks? The sparks are no good. That means part of it's burning off. That means you're running fairing rich right now. But she still made it, dude. Look at that. Is that wild or what? Oh, Baron, this footage is choice, man. Dude. There's also, looks like the moon is just chilling back there. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. Yeah, I'm holding on to this. I'm holding on to this footage. I'm sure your rocket is flying rocket rich. Yeah, that happened to SpaceX a couple of times, Yuri. SN8 and SN9. So in my simple mind, it is a weight to mass ratio with the fairings. It's not weight to mass, House. Weight has nothing to do with it because we're flying through the air. It is... it is about mass. No, it's more the volume of the fairing, like how big it is versus the mass of the fairing. Yeah, mass to the surface area of the fairing. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Okay, engine chill is happening right now. They're cooling the turbine machinery on the second stage to get it to fire, making sure it's to operating temperature. And they could do that. They do that by SpaceX does that by trickling the propellants into the turbine machinery, and then there's vent lines to do that so you don't fire the rocket engine while that happens.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the Maxar-3 mission. We have had a great mission so far today with an
Solid
on-time
oxygen
liftoff
accumulation.
at 6:13 p.m. Eastern from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center. After a successful stage separation, the first stage returned to Earth with a precision landing at Landing Zone 1 in Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Now we are minutes away from our expected payload deploy, but first, the MVAC engine on the second stage will reignite and shut down for the second time. So we're standing by for those callouts from Mission Control.
Okay, so SpaceX thermally conditioning the engine. And it looks like Falcon is firing its attitude
The
control
MVAC
thrusters
engine on
here.
your screen right now is on board Stage 2 of Falcon 9 and is capable of relight to deploy multiple payloads to multiple orbits on the same mission.
I don't think 500 would make that much of a difference, Hokie.
And again, if you are just joining us
It'd
today,
make it if
today
that's
we
what
are
you're
delivering
asking.
two
Pretty
next-generation Worldview Legion satellites to orbit for our customer, Maxar
You
Intelligence.
see how the trash bags right here, they're not trash bags, it's MLI, it's space blankets. See how they were puffing around right before ignition? They were using
Great
little
views
thrusters.
of SES-2 on your screen there.
There to adjust the
And
stage.
we are expecting this burn to last about 20 seconds. Forgive me, 10 seconds.
I'm sorry, what? That was not 10 seconds.
Great views of The MVAC engine on your screen right now is on board Stage 2 of Falcon 9.
Hang on,
and is capable of relight to deploy multiple payloads to multiple orbits on the same mission. And again,
Let's see.
Nominal orbit insertion.
there's confirmation from Mission Control that the fourth of Worldview Legion satellites
Yeah,
in
see
May
the shadow?
2024, and the third and fourth satellites in August 2020.
Okay.
Mission planning, disaster response,
Cool, we're
defense
good.
intelligence, and more. The Maxar Legion constellation supports national security, defense, and humanitarian response for the U.S. and allied governments. When complete with 4 satellites and mid...
Okay, I want to go look at that burn again. She said 10 seconds, so... I just want to see this real quick before we get up to satellite deploy. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... That was not 10 seconds. Unless SpaceX has
As
some
always, you can
different
also follow
nomenclature
along
for
with
how
our
they count
Stage 2
seconds.
telemetry in the bottom of your screen. And you can see right now we're holding an orbit, which we heard called out from Mission Control that we're in the right orbit for this
See,
deployment.
the thrusters are
as we
firing and they're
prepare for that
moving it.
deployment
That's what I'm
of
talking
the
about. See the
fifth
Terminator?
Worldview Legion satellite.
Also, they're venting down the engine. After they fire the engine, they evac all the liquid oxygen out of it with these vent lines by purging the engine out with helium. That's what you see. The reason why that gas is, the reason why I know it's helium is because it's not solidifying when it goes out the vent line. The gaseous oxygen that it pushed out is solidifying immediately, but the helium
Just
is
about
not.
a minute until we're expecting that payload deployment call from Mission Control.
This has it at 4 seconds. Well, that wasn't right either. You see, they had solid oxygen accumulate here, but this was outgassing, right? And the helium wasn't solidifying. Anybody know why? See? Not solidifying. Why would helium not solidify, but oxygen
Getting
would
really
when you
awesome
vent it
views
into
on
the
the left-hand
vacuum?
side of your screen there of the curvature of the Earth behind the MVAC engine skirt. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast today,
Well, Yuri, the interesting thing is that the commentator, Ronnie, corrected herself. She said 20 seconds, and then she said 10 seconds, and it was a 6-second burn.
of course, is short for Merlin vacuum
But they called
engine,
nominal orbit
which is the
insertion,
engine
so
on board
whatever.
Stage 2. And it's quite similar to the 9 engines on board
Helium
the booster
freezes
of
at a lower
Falcon 9,
temperature. That's
which
right.
moved the rocket through the Earth's atmosphere prior to stage separation.
Yeah, a 4-second discrepancy, Dean, is not good. But they called nominal orbit insertion, so
Maxar's
whatever.
5th Worldview Legion spacecraft deployment confirmed.
All right, Maxar 5
So there we
right
heard
there.
the call out, and you can see successful deployment of that 5th Worldview Legion satellite on your screen. The second Worldview Legion satellite for today's mission will be deployed at about T plus 1 hour and 49 minutes. So with that, we'll take a short break and return for our third relight of that MVAC engine on the second stage at T plus 1 hour and 7 minutes. So we'll see you back here in just a few.
Short break. T-pose for space. Mikkel, next month you might get to launch a rocket about 3 feet long and will, according to simulators, top out at 3,400 feet. 0.64 Mach. Nice. That's good, man. That's super cool. Back at university, we did the math of how many G's you feel if you were to surf on the fairing down. For a normal Starlink G load would be 5 to 6 G's, sustained for 3 minutes. Falcon Heavy, it's 7 to 8. That would hurt. You would feel it, Baron. Apparently, this launch was delayed so they could investigate a Stage 2 issue with the deorbit burn during the Starlink launch. That's what I've heard. That's the next orbit. Archie. Oh, nice shot. Nice shot, goalie. You got that sucker all the way down. Oh, supersonic retro propulsion. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, turn this down. Goalie, you got some footage of it, huh? Nice. Pretty good, man. Now, this is what I wanted to see right here. Staging. Boost back. Oh, that's sick, dude. Nice track. Oh, look at her come back. Oh, that's killer. Why is perigee negative near Africa? I don't know, Yuri. That should be the next orbit, but they're going to do another burn here. But once again, that burn time seemed a little low. Just saying. Man, look at her come back. Nice footage, dude. Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Yeah, okay. Would you just look at it?
Oh, would you look at this?
Would you look at that? It's ridiculous. Falcon 9 had the extended payload fairing kit for the second stage with extra batteries and thermal for the RP-1 tank. Oh, yeah, yeah. That was the one that flew right now? Cool. We never saw this. We couldn't see the second stage, but yeah, that's for the for coasting, second stage coasting. I just want to see that. Just here. Let's. Goalie, this is not a bad track here, dude. Right now the vehicle's coasting here till stage relight. Come on. Where's the supersonic retro propulsion? That's ACS on the first stage, 619. Yep. That little venting that you're seeing coming from the bottom of the stage is them thermally conditioning the engines for a relight. They're trickling the propellants into Falcon 9 for the supersonic retro propulsion. And there it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. Why you gotta frame it behind me? Stop putting it behind me, you dope. Thank you. Oh, it went into the clouds. You lost it. Nah, she's gone. Nice footage, though, dude. The last, like, 10 seconds, you'll hear it. All right.
Oh, would you look at this?
Do you think Pad A at Starbase will be completely rebuilt to have a flame trench like Pad West? No, I don't. That's from the house. Nice, man. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's get back, check in on the mission here. Would you listen? Oh, would you listen to this? Dean, I don't think that Pad A at Starbase is going to get, like, completely removed and dug up. It maybe, but I don't think so. That's not something that's going to happen, like, anytime soon. What I think they'll do is make modifications to the current OLM. Unless I'm completely missing something, I think they'll make modifications. Now, why? Why would they do that? SpaceX in the past has done that. That's what they've done with Falcon 9 pads. Vandenberg was the original Falcon 9 1.1 launch pad. Back in the day, SpaceX built two pads. They built one pad for Falcon 9 1.0 at Slick 40 at the Cape, and Slick 4 East, which they still use, They built that for Falcon 9 1.1, which was that was the Cassiope mission. That was the first Falcon 9 I ever saw, which was pretty cool. Vandenberg's transporter erector is the oldest piece of of launch hardware that SpaceX has. That transporter erector was built in 2011. It's 14 years old, which I hate saying that. I remember when that was brand new. Hey, Ish, what's going on? Just missing the one in the front 54-month resub. Nice, Scully. So, the point is that SpaceX has upgraded what they've had because of launch cadence purposes. They upgraded the pad at Vandenberg. They upgraded the reaction frame. They upgraded a bunch of things. But the TE, if it works, it works. So in that regard, what would they upgrade? In that regard, they would just upgrade the OLM. Maybe they'll destroy it, maybe not. But what would they need to upgrade? They would need to they would need to basically take the whole thing apart and put it back together, which, now that I'm thinking about it, if you have to do that, you might as well just dig the trench. But the way that OLM-A starts, does the spin starting mechanism on Super Heavy. The way that all works is that you have 20 umbilicals that are pneumatic, that can pneumatically start the outer 20 Raptor engines. There's 20 umbilicals attached to 20 hold down points in that design. SpaceX is opting for a much simpler design that has one umbilical with a manifold that goes to all 20 engines, with a pneumatic manifold that goes to all 20 engines. That's a big difference. One of the biggest differences between Pad A and Pad B. That's the biggest one. So, my guess is that they'll just take the umbilicals off of the 20 hold down points and put another umbilical on to be able to accept new boosters. Because as far as I can tell, Pad A and Pad B have the same hold down structure, more or less. It's very similar, right? Reacquisition is signal right there. But the spin starting mechanism is different. That's as far as I can tell. Could be wrong. The point is that if you look at historically, SpaceX hasn't upgraded launch pad infrastructure unless they absolutely have to. So I'll give you an example. Like I said, we talked about Vandenberg, right? That TE is really old. It's from it was built when Falcon 1 was flying. Oh, almost when Falcon 1 was flying. Not exactly. Now, but they still use it. We watched a Vandenberg launch the other day. They still use the dang thing. So they're going to use what they can because they got to launch a lot of rockets. Starship is the same case. They had to use what they can because they wanted to launch a lot of Falcon 9s, and Starship is the same case. They got to launch a lot of Starships, so they need more pads. So pad downtime is not something you want with the Starship program. You do not want pad downtime. In fact, the Starship program is the opposite of that. So what I think they're going to do, Dean, is make minimal modifications to OLM-A to make it accept a booster that was designed for OLM-B and then call it a day. I still think they'll use the pad deluge and everything and just be done with it. That's what I was thinking. Finish pad B, get on with the booster V2, redo pad A to do V2 as well. Might mean a flame trench or not. Definitely big OLM upgrades. I really don't think they're going to do a trench over there, Bob. I really don't. Dude, the downtime to take apart the OLM, dig up those pilings that go like 100 feet into the ground. No. Why would you do that? Why the hell would you do that? The OLM-A is on 6 legs. Those legs go down, right? And then they go into the ground. They go into the ground probably about 100 feet, about 30 meters. You want to dig that up to build a flame trench? That's a lot of digging. Plus, another thing that I'm kind of taking into account here, Baron, is where the heck are you going to put the booster? So, okay, we're still a little ways out from Seco here. So where are you going to put the booster and the Starship to stage them? Because you got to remember, Pad A is pointed 90 degrees in a different direction. right? Could they install a flame deflector to control the exhaust plume? I would think that would be more likely, Trey, than redoing the entire thing to make it look like Pad B. So check this out. So this tower is facing this way. So that means a trench would need to go this way, right? If we were orienting it the same way as Pad B, the trench would have to be right here. You really want a flame trench that's shooting at your subcoolers right there? I don't think they're gonna change nothing. I think they'll make the modifications to that OLM as they see fit and call it a day. Pad B is pointing this way. They're 90 degrees off. I can show you. Oh, nice. That Deuce Coupe picture's still up there. RGV has a picture. Actually, NSF has a picture. I'll show you Jack. Yak, Mr. Yak has a picture. Mr. Yak. Chillwave aircraft carrier. Mr. Yak. Mr. Yak. Da, 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 da. So you see right here, you see where the draw works for the chopsticks are? The draw works for the chopsticks. The trench would need to be right here. That trench would need to be here, going this way. Basically shooting right at your lock subcooler. I think those are lock subcoolers. Look at all the Jackie emotes. Do you think the booster bidet might get reworked to have a wedge-shaped diverter above the ground? Maybe. Yeah, I would say that's much more likely to happen than them doing this over here, because you got to dig that whole thing up, guys. That once again, see those legs right there? Those pilings go down 100 feet. You'd be digging up solid reinforced concrete. That would suck. Once again, it's possible. It's possible, sure, why not? But once again, it's possible, but SpaceX got to launch Starship. They got to launch a lot of Starships between now and 2026 at the very latest. They got to launch a lot of Starships. Pad downtime is not something they want. So I'd say minimal modifications to this. Go with what you have. It works. Change it to make it work more like this one over here, but keep the shape the same. Call it a day. Catch spot for the second stage. House, to be 100% honest with you, I've heard some things. I've heard that they're going to use this tower for catching boosters, and when the time comes, they're going to catch the ship with this bad mother trucker over here. That's what I've heard. I have no way of saying where I heard that from. Sorry. But it does make sense. You would want a dedicated catch tower for the ship, at least for now, until you get this down. Is the Super Heavy launch site in Florida getting a flame trench then? That is, I have no idea, Dean. We're going to have to, we'll wait until an NSF flyover and then we'll see. Eric Quarter Pounder with cheese. I actually didn't hear it from him, Nova. I got to talk to people when I was down at Starbase. I got to talk to people. That, and the only other reason why I'm telling you this is because you can surmise this information just by looking at a Starship. Looking at how the catch arms are on, how the chopsticks are. Like the shortened sticks. And also thinking about incremental upgrades. Like, you wouldn't try to catch one Starship and one Super Heavy with one tower right off the bat. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Because what if the Starship misses and then your Starship crashes into the tower, which crashes into the booster, and you lose all three? That is unnecessary risk that needs to be taken. It makes perfect sense. which is why I've always said that they're going to do a catch tower. I've always said they're going to have a dedicated tower for catching. Remember when I would go off on my crazy VAB plans? Right? Like, oh, they're going to use the VAB for this, 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 and this. They're going to have a dedicated tower for catching. One is going to be for launching. The other one's going to be for catching. Blah, 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 blah. That's the idea. Narrower rails. Yeah, dude. The signs are there if you really know. If you really know what to look for. All right, here. We're coming up on SECO 3 here, second stage thermal conditioning.
Our 3 mission. Before that last break, we saw the successful.
Would you just look at it?
Oh, would you look at that?
And now we're moments away from a third ignition of the MVAC engine on board the second stage. This roughly 10-second burn will be followed by another shutdown of MVAC, also known as Second Engine Cutoff 3, or SECO 3.
I have seen that, Dean. I don't know what to make of that.
Right now, we're standing by for those callouts, expecting them in just about 10 seconds.
Oh, Newmark, I don't know, dude. I really want to work for SpaceX. NASA, I'm not picky, though. If NASA wanted to hire me, I'd be in. If SpaceX wanted to hire me, yo, Elon, call me, dude. Call me, dude. Just call me. There's a good relight.
Great views of SES-3.
That was a
up there in
6-second
space
burn.
with the Earth behind our MVAC engine. And confirmation of shutdown.
Why is she saying 10 seconds?
With that,
These
we're
aren't
about
10-second
35 minutes away from a
burns.
fourth ignition of the MVAC engine on the second stage,
Fourth?
which will carry the payload to the orbit needed to deploy
Nominal orbit insertion.
the spacecraft.
Good
and
call
there's
for
confirmation
NOI.
of nominal orbital insertion.
Nice.
Again, that second deployment is our second and final deployment of today's mission. We'll take another
Yes,
break
Dr.
here
Noem.
for our next coast phase, but we'll see you back in about 34 minutes.
Yeah, they must be metric seconds or something. Well, there's time dilation, so they're metric seconds. Oh, that's cool, Terminator. Right on. She said roughly this time, yeah. EJSA is a conflict of interest for NASA. Oh, be quiet. Oh, shut up. I'd work for either, dude, to be honest with you. One, I'm not really sure what I would do there, but also at the same time, if they wanted to hire me, I'd assume it'd be for something like this. You've been to Boca. Do you think it's a good job position for a young engineer? Got an opportunity there a couple months ago. Baron, I am biased as hell. I would say absolutely yes. Putting SpaceX on your resume means something, dude. I don't give a frick what anybody says. You can hate Elon, you can like him, whatever. I don't care. Putting SpaceX on your resume is a big, big deal. Dude, anywhere in the aerospace, nice shot. Anywhere in the aerospace industry, you put that on your resume, people are, you know, you'll get a job down the road. The living conditions and such. A lot of your friends say it's hell to work there. Yes, it sucks. Yeah, oh yeah. That's a thing. Dude, that was New Zealand, by the way. Yeah, dude, it's not that Brownsville is a bad place to live. I could see myself living there. Jack lives there. It's really not a problem. The thing about Brownsville is that it's very remote. Boca Chica, Starbase, it's very, very remote. So, Baron, if you were going to work there, you'd probably take the bus. SpaceX has a bus service to and from, so they don't have to build like mountains of parking lots out at Boca Chica. So they have bus stations, and you go there and you park there and you take the bus to work. Not a bad thing, but yeah, it's remote. My thing about Brownsville is that it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. I mean, with that being said, dude, like, there's stuff to do. There's stuff to do. Like, not as much stuff to do as Florida, but there's stuff to do down there. I actually kind of dig it. It's kind of nice. But I can see how that place, like, if you are the type of person that likes to go out and do stuff, I can see how it probably isn't your, like, Florida would be probably more your cup of tea. And I do love Florida. I love it. I love that place. If I ever make enough money, I'm going to buy a house in Titusville on top of this one here. I'll buy two and just go back and forth, you know. I whatever. It's fine, you know. I like Florida that much, you know. It's awesome. There's so much stuff to do. There's racetracks, there's rocket launches, there's Disney World, there's theme parks, there's, you know, you can go surfing, you can go fishing, you can do whatever. It's fantastic. I love that place. It has a lot of things that are near and dear to my heart. Now, with that being said, I understand Florida is not everybody's cup of tea, right? A lot of my friends got a job at the new Starlink facility in Bastrop. They're recruiting a ton of people. Bastrop isn't bad. That's really close to Austin. Austin is a good time. Yeah, a lot of people nowadays, though. A lot of people. I remember going back, taking trips to South by Southwest with Das 10 years ago. And yeah, and then I actually went to the Formula One race at Austin, the first one, dude. I was there in 2012 when Lewis won the first race there, when he was driving for freaking McLaren. Austin then and Austin now is two different places. Yeah, they are not, dude, it is not the same place. But Austin is fun. It's a good time. You would never fail the Starlink streak. No, absolutely not. I saw the NSF footage of you next to Jack looking up at ship 34. That was Das, Dean. Yeah. Yeah. It was me, Das, and Erebors there. Yeah, dude, I got about as close here. I got about this close from me to you to ship 34. From here, about 3 steps forward to ship 34. Dude, I'm telling you, and Baron, this is the other thing. If I had the opportunity to work on Starship, I would do it. Like, I would do it. Straight up. Yeah, I can't see me. High five. I would do it. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. If I was in your shoes right now, I would do that. I would absolutely do that. Starship ruined my perspective of rockets. Ruined it. Like, you know, I've been streaming for some time, dudes. I've been streaming for a long time. I gush over space shuttle launches. Those are my favorite, right? Because I grew up with that. That's what I grew up with. And every time we'd watch a shuttle launch, we'd always get some old timer in here going, it's not a Saturn V. I watched this Saturn V launch. That shuttle is nothing compared to that. And I was always like, yeah, all right, whatever. Hey, B-Pat. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that, man. That helps me a lot. Thank you. And I would be like, yeah, okay, old timer. Yeah, I know, the Saturn V, I get it. Yeah, space shuttle's pretty cool, too. Seeing Starship launch ruined it. The only reason at this point in time why I still hold shuttle launches in higher regard is because I've seen one launch, and that's not something that you can see anymore. Compared to, like, every other rocket, Starship, dude, it ruined it. It ruined it. Seeing that booster get caught ruined it. I'm like, I don't know what to do here, man. Like, Falcon 9s are still awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like, Vulcan is cool. Ariane 6 exists. New Glenn's awesome. I love that rocket, dude. It's Starship. Like, it ruined it. It ruined it so hard. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because I like New Glenn. I've always said New Glenn is a good rocket, and when we eventually got to see it fly, it's amazing. It was awesome. I really hope they land that next stage. Like, I'm pulling for them. I really, really, really am, dude. I just, the thing caught the tower. Like, what? How do you? Dude, and then I saw Ship 34 up close. Like, I'm like, this is really amazing. You know, like, Father, this is the greatest discovery in the history of mankind. Are you German? You know? 12 Bravo, what's up, man? 57-month resub. Woo! 3 months until 5 years. Damn, time flies. Aziz Light! Much better. Thank you, Aziz. Good. Don't move! I got a gun! You know, like... Yeah, Rudy, exactly. And it gets better. Oh. So, Baron, yeah, there's not a lot to do down there. Brownsville's a little bit remote. It's not like Florida. It's not. It's a little bit remote. There is stuff to do, but there's not as much stuff to do as Florida. But you're working on Starship, and that really makes up for it. Multipass. Multipass! Yeah, she knows it's a multipass. Yeah, when newlyweds just met, she knows it's a multipass. Anyway, we're in love. Oh, jeez, I didn't think I'm so scared that I was going to miss this flight, so I sent David here to come and check me in. But now David has to go. I am Corbin Dallas. Just give me my retirement idea. Kick-ass bar and grill in Brownsville. Whatever is there, I can beat it. I'd believe you. Bada boom. Yeah. Hey, Father, she said something to me. Like I don't really remember. I mean, I couldn't understand any of it, but she said something. But what does ectogamete mean? Never without my permission. Thought so. Not as remote as French Guiana, though. Yeah, probably not, but yeah. Poutine joint down there, let's go. You'd probably sell a bunch to me, all systems. Rudy, you'd give single advice. Don't take a night shift for the love of God. Everything else is good. Food is great, atmosphere is awesome, and really smart people to work with. There you go. Maybe Chris G can get you in communications. That would be a dream come true, David. I'll tell you that. Kobe, my man. What's these things with all these numbers? No. Because if it's a bomb, the alarms will go off because all these hotels have bomb detectors, right? EJ hosting a stream, let's go. Dude, I wouldn't be able to contain the hype. I'd be like, this is sick! Yeah!
Oh, would you look at this?
You know, would you just look at it? It'd be bad. Sorry. Wait, where are you going? And you'd never stream here again. Nah, I'd still do it. Probably wouldn't have a lot of time though, Mutter, but I'd still find time to do it. I wouldn't abandon you guys. You're not getting rid of me that easy. Sorry, Cheeseburger. I often combine references here. You must understand, it's how I communicate. Is it possible to change your orbital inclination on the same flight? Sure. Why wouldn't it be? That's a loaded answer, Brent. You can do it. It's very, very, very inefficient from a Delta V perspective to do what's called an on-orbit plane change, especially at this altitude. 461, dude, a 1 degree inclination change would probably be like a kilometer a second. Something like that. Not great. Not great. With that being said, the further you are away from a planet's grav well, the easier it is to change your inclination. So if your apogee is, I don't know, 40,000 kilometers that way, right? Should be easier to do. You're further out of the grav well. You could change it for much less delta V. Now, why? Why? Okay, so what? Well, the easy way to say this is that Falcon 9 second stage is going that way at 26,529 kilometers an hour. It's hard to take a left when you're going that fast in that direction. Does that make sense? It's hard to take a left or a right because an on-orbit plane change would be out of phase burn where the rocket engine is pointed that way or pointed that way. It would be perpendicular to your trajectory. So don't do that. It would be like if you cast your mind back to the beam stream that I did before this, where we were playing Beam NG. It would be like going 240 miles an hour, and then the road turns, and then you try to turn, but your car doesn't want to turn because you're going 240 miles an hour, and it goes straight, and you wind up 3 or 4 miles away in a sand dune, not near the road, and then you hit a telephone pole, and then a meteor hit. That's a good question, Brand. Yeah, does that make sense? You're going really, really fast that way, so it's hard to go that way when you're going that way that fast. This picture is going around on SpaceX, on Space Twitter. It's the new SpaceX facility entrance in Boca Chica. Oh yeah, the Mars. Yep. That's what that damn triangle in the triangle in the ceiling was for. It's for that atrium that's over there. I actually think inclination changing should be key to the UK rocket. Sure, location is good for polar, but a 3-stage rocket with 3rd stage designed for inclination could be useful. Ray, let me see something, and I'll tell you. See, I don't know where the hell this came from, dudes, but, like, everybody thinks, for whatever stupid reason, that if you have a launch site at the equator, you're good. You are good. You can launch anywhere. You know that launch sites that are closer to the equator are actually terrible for launching into a polar orbit, right? For the same exact reasons that a launch site at a higher latitude, north or south, are awful at going to equatorial. If you ask me nowadays, and don't get me wrong, I would have told you this 5 years ago, but I thought about it. You ask me nowadays, a place like KSC, perfect. Not too warm, not too cold. I would actually probably take a lower latitude, or well, mid-range latitude, anywhere from 20 to 40 degrees, north or south would be fine. That is a launch site where you're truly equalized between going polar and going equatorial. You could do whatever. That's the best. That would be the best place in my opinion. See, like, Vandenberg being 33 degrees north is pretty bad for getting into polar orbits.
This is space. I'm in space.
It's not the best place. That's the reason why Kodiak exists, too. But Vandenberg has a lot of ocean to the south of it. That's one of the few places in the U.S. where there's nothing to the south but ocean. That's why they put it there. Hey, Falcon Punch. What's going on? I was thinking on how could SpaceX or NASA build a global constellation on Mars. That's why I asked. Yeah, sure. Wallops fits your requirements. Yes, absolutely. Wallops would be good. Anywhere up to basically me, where I am. Anywhere in here is perfect. Great spot for a launch site. Yeah. Actually, if you truly want to split the difference, you'd probably need about 30. So like somewhere right here, but let's be real, we ain't launching rockets from this area here. Wallops is actually amazingly suited for this. You're actually right. What about Baikonur? Baikonur is 50 degrees north, Hentai. Hentai Senpai, nice name. That's a good name. That's pretty funny. Read previous, check Discord.
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
What makes you think I want to see this, Trey? Where were the proposed Georgia launch sites? Oh, nope, Nova gifted you a sub. Nice. Thanks for the gift sub, Daddy. Oh, God. That's awful. Georgia. You know, I dig them Georgia peaches. Makes me feel right at home. There is an old testing facility around here somewhere. I'll know it when I see it. Yeah, here it is. This is where they wanted to launch stuff for. It's an old rocket testing facility. It's very remote. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Right there. Yeah, not bad. Not a bad place for a launch site. And there's already infrastructure there. Yeah. They wanted to build the pad over here, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be pulling that up completely out of my tail. Yeah, nothing has happened, Sawyer. They're not doing anything. Paperclip era? No. It's something from the 60s, man. I don't remember what it's for, dude. I'm sorry. Too much information crammed up there. The locals voted against it. Whatever. See, people think for some reason that a space center being next to your, like around your house is going to lower property values. It's the exact opposite. Yeah, it's the exact opposite of that. Yeah, it does the opposite. Look at Brownsville. Good example. Look at Boca Chica. Yeah, exactly, Hentai. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just Boca Chica, dude. I mean, SpaceX bought everybody out of these houses at like, I think it's 2 times the market value of their house. Like, so if your house costs 300 grand, SpaceX says, hey, we'll give you 600 grand if you leave. I'd be like, bye. See you later, dude. I'm out. I'll go live somewhere else. Go buy a skyscraper on South Padre Island or something. Right? And it's not just there. It's all of... Dude, it's all up in here. Like, all up in here. All up in here. Think you're gonna get away with it? Not up in here. Not up in here! So. Pretty good. It shows here the more spacecraft we get, the harder it is to live here. Yep. Come on, why not a launch pad here in St. Louis? Joke. Nah, I'm good for multiple reasons. Mary's still there, Dean. Yep. I hope Logan wants to buy my house for double if they expand. Maybe real. Real, let's flip this around. You know what I want, dude? Launch site. I picked out a great spot. In Chatham. The Sandbar. Right here. Perfect launch site, dude. 41 degrees north. You could get to the ISS from there. You can get equatorial from there. You could get geo from there. You could get geo to equatorial from here. You could launch Starlinks from here. You do whatever. And it is 2 miles away. It's one of the few spots on the Cape where there's nothing for miles. It would never happen, though. They would never. No, but it. Chatham is full of people that talk like this. I'm sorry if you're from Chatham. You know what I mean. They would never they would never allow it, but that would be the spot to do it right there. Can you please show that picture inside of SpaceX's office? I X'd out of it. The rich people left. How is South Chatham west of Chatham? Well, it's south of Harwich. Does that help? Okay, so another thing, Mutter. No one calls these by these names. You see, anywhere over here is just Chatham. That's not a thing. Any good launch sites for the Lower Peninsula? I know there was one proposal. Lake Moron is too small, dude. That's the big problem there. Chatham is the lowest property tax rate in Massachusetts. Hey, man, you know what, Aldezert? Maybe they'll go for it, dude. Who knows? How sick would that actually be, dude? Launches out of the Cape in the summertime? Now we're talking. Lake what? Lake Moron. What about Lake Erie near Monroe? It's too busy of a shipping lane, dude. And there's too much stuff here. Is Lake Superior big enough? We're a little... This is at the upper limits of where you'd really want to go. If you wanted to go polar, sure. It might be enough. Here, let me check. Nope. Nope. Not enough. Nah. You need... So, say you have a 2-stage expendable vehicle, and you launch out of, like, Marquette, right there, right? The first stage, say you went polar, the first stage is coming down here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some Canadians out there that have a big problem with that. That's what I mean. This is the range that you need to get this done. Just too many people. And you're in a busy shipping lane on top of that, dude. It's not gonna happen. Maybe a sounding rocket, maybe. Maine? You could launch out of Maine, sure. There's a Nova Scotia in the way, though. That's why I would want to launch from here, because you could do a Starlink out of here, or the ISS. Yeah. Or you could do that. Nah, that's not gonna work either. You'd have to launch to the ISS on the descending node, so you'd go this way. That's pretty good. 60, basically from 65 all the way to 199. That's a pretty good sweep. Yeah, that's pretty decent, dudes. Tell you where there's nothing, Hudson Bay. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Delaware, Senpai, there is a launch site that's just south of there, believe it or not. Wallops Island, the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport. So yeah, you're not wrong. They already put a launch site there. Would the very end of the Mississippi River near Pilot Town be good? It's a lot of shipping, dude. What a shot. Hold on a second. Come on, go back to that. Come on. Please go back to that. Really, Wolfie? Distance for first stage coming down is about 600 kilometers SVO. 600 downrange is usually on a ballistic arc for any first stage. If you're using hydrolox or methalox in your first stage, it's even further. There were plans to build a site in Nova Scotia. Yeah, they wanted to. What payload is this? Pixar 3? No. It's Maxer 5. and 6. They already deployed the 5. I'm not kidding. Why you... Stop looking at me like that. It's Maxer 5. Okay, it's Maxer Worldview Legion 5 and 6. That's the technical name. So I'm Maxer 5 and 6, okay? Ice. That was Google Earth Pro. SVO. What about a launch site in Newfoundland? That would work. You're a little far north, Archie. But yeah, once again, we're looking at... I would want like 20 to 40 degrees north or 20 to 40 degrees south. That's really where I want. You could get anywhere from there. The Cape is actually pretty good, but the Cape is obviously better for equatorial, but you can do polar out of the Cape too. What about Greenland? Pyro? Greenland's a little too far north, dude, for these types of launches that I'm thinking. Greenland's way up there. It's on the other side of Canada. There is an Air Force base up here somewhere. Tool Air Force Base. You could launch from there. Nope. If I wanted to go to Colorado Springs, I'd go to Colorado Springs, you dopes. What around Washington State? Wrong side of the country? Yeah, you'd have to launch. You really generally want to launch due east. It's up here somewhere. Ah, yes. Kanak. Yeah, I don't know where it is. It's now known as Pituffik? Yeah, see, there's a U.S. Air Base up here. So, meaning there's some infrastructure there to build a launch site in the vicinity, but... I mean, there's not many people out here. But once again, you're 76 degrees north. This is good for polar and about... That's it. It's good for polar launches. And yeah, that's... It's good for polar and nothing else. But you could, sure. And I lost it. What about Saginaw Bay? You want to launch something out of here? Nope. Nope, no good. Bad Air Force members are sent there when they do something bad. Yikes. I wish the East Coast wasn't so developed. We need more super heavy launch infrastructure. What about Labrador? If I could have a launch site anywhere in Canada, it'd probably be right here. It'd be over here somewhere. Yeah, like probably right here. That's a great range. Guys, remember, it's the range of the launch site too. Like, it's not just being able to launch, it's being able to launch in multiple directions. Remember, this ideal launch site that I'm talking about is 20 to 40. This is 43, which is why I think Chatham would be better. But you could launch from Montauk at the very end of New York, but there's no way anyone there would be cool with that. But you know, look at Edmundston, Maine. Block Island, yeah. Gotta be able to get out there, but... Nah, this is no good. There's a Nova Scotia in the way. Wouldn't launching from Nova Scotia interrupt fishing on the Grand Bank? Probably. No, that's not it.
And we are back for our ongoing coverage of the Maxar 3 mission, which is currently in progress. Our customer for today's mission is Maxar Intelligence, and we're currently coming up on the fourth relight of the MVAC engine on board the second stage, our last burn before our second and final satellite deployment of today's mission.
Here we go. See how long this burn is, dudes.
Set of Worldview Legion satellites in May 2024, and the third and fourth satellites in August 2024. Today's Maxar 3 mission delivers the fifth and sixth satellites to complete the first block of Maxar's Worldview Legion constellation. The fifth satellite was the first to be deployed today, so we have just one more to go.
Come on, baby.
Right now, we are standing by for second engine start 4 of our MVAC.
They wanted a base in Nantucket, but then the rocket would tuck it, so Elon smirked and said,
"Oh, would you look at this?"
That's what he said. They can launch from your house, you'd be okay with it. Yeah, me too, John. Ignition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds on that one.
Great views on your screen there of second engine start 4.
You want to run ads right now when we're coming up on payload deploy? All right, roll for initiative, you dickweed. 15. Mods, can we get a roll for SVO in the Twitch chat?
Now, of course, we're standing
4.
by for a
Get
that we are in.
fricked.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Nominal orbit insertion. Boom.
With that confirmation of the fourth relight and correct orbital insertion for this MVAC engine burn, we're going to take one more break before the final satellite for today's mission is deployed. We'll see you back here in just about 5 minutes.
Okay. Nice. Dude, look at the sun. Look at the sunrise. Whoa. It's not rigged at all. Dude. Dude. Look at that. What is this? What are we looking at? Earth. Well, okay. Would Cape Lookout be a place we could go? Where the hell's Cape Lookout? Well, if that... Well, if that was the case, that wasn't sunrise. It was sunset. That was Long Island. Shh! That's me! Yo, that's me! That's Massachusetts! That's Boston! Oh! Dude! That was me! Whoa! Dude! That was Long Island, you were right! Holy crap! That was me! I'm in this photo, and I do like it! Dude, that was awesome! Hold on, I gotta go see that again. Dude, that was worth the wait, man! It's this next shot. Oh, that's cool. There's New York City. Groton, Hartford, Providence, Boston. What the heck? There's Albany up there and Schenectady right there. That's Jersey right there. There's the armpit. Wow. There's Long Island right there. All the way out to Montauk. You can't see anything out of Montauk. Dude, you can't see anything out by me either. It's super dark. That's what I mean, dude. There's no light pollution down here. You can't even see Cape Cod. Yeah, no light pollution down here. It's fantastic. I love it because I used to live up here. I used to live where my mouse cursor is. I couldn't see nothing at night. Dude, that's so cool. I looked at it. I'm like, that looks like that is Long Island. That's Groton, dude. That's cool, man. That's me. I'm sorry. That's super neat. Okay, all right. We're coming up on payload deploy. Oh, that was sick. That was so cool, dude. Can I see it again? I want to see that one more time. Dude, that's so cool. I'm watching a spacecraft fly over my house, and that's being live streamed to my computer. God, I love 2025. This is great. That's great, man. That's so cool. Wow. Yeah, dude, look at the shot before it. So that's Boston. That's Hartford, Providence. That's Groton, Connecticut right there. That's New York City, this big thing of light. You could see Manhattan. It's right there. You can see Coney Island right there. You can see Hoboken is right there. And then Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. That's the whole northeastern corridor right there. Is that Bridgeport? If that's Bridgeport, then Groton is right here. And that means, so that's Providence. Newport's right there. Fall River's right there. New Bedford's right there. Dude, that's the whole northeast corridor. You know how many people are in this damn picture? How many people do you think are in this picture? 50 million? 60 million? It's gotta be. There's a lot of people in this picture. That's Raleigh in the lower left. Holy crap, man. 160 million people. Dude, that's like a significant percentage of Earth's population in that picture right there. That's crazy, dude. Did you get a screenshot? Oh, yeah. All right, payload deploy. We're coming up on payload deploy, sorry. That's nuts, dude. Did you see that?
Launched the first
Oops.
set of Worldview Legion satellites and
Oops, I missed it.
final
Sorry. I missed it. Sorry, that picture was too cool. Here's the payload deploy. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's not every day I can see my house from space. Leave me alone. Yeah, no, this is live. You're looking at now. See, it says live over there. Everything you see now is happening now. Deploy? Well, you missed it just now. You're at now. Soon.
Maxar's 6th Worldview Legion spacecraft is now deployed.
Awesome.
With that confirmation and great visual, you can see the second successful deployment of this mission today.
I think that's it. I think that's all. All right, it's cool. That's awesome. I want to go back and see my house. How do you take the picture? Wave. No, there's a way you can screen grab. I always forget. Alt Windows print screen. Boop. Yeah, whatever. Nope, that's not that, but hey, whatever. Good enough. There we go. I got it. You just sent me a video of the second stage, Joe? Oh. It's Windows Shift S. Thank you. I always forget. That's bananas, dude. What a shot. That's so cool. I forgot about this. That's what I always forget what the keybind is for the snip tool. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. There's some lightning over there. It's crazy how Long Island is so lit up. So many people live there. You can actually see the outline of the actual island. And yeah, you guys are right. That's definitely Bridgeport. That's Bridgeport. Groton's over here. So Hartford, Providence, Springfield, Worcester, Boston, Manchester's up there. Dude, that's cool, man. That's really neat. Yeah, it's the 91 coordinate. Can you believe that, man? It's not every day we get a shot like this. What you're looking at is the extent of high-speed rail in the United States. Seriously, the only high-speed rail line on the entire continent goes, well, Brightline notwithstanding at this point, goes from here to there. That's it. That's the only high-speed rail corridor. Yeah, right, Bill? Crazy. Is Buffalo in this shot? Buffalo would be over here somewhere. Here, let's see if backed it up a little bit. See if we got another picture. Nah.
Coming up, our Worldview is in a fifth beat.
Dude. Oh, nice, Wolfie. That's a hell of a picture, man. Buffalo would be like right here. It's way over there. And so if that's New York and that's Philly, Pittsburgh is like right here. So that means Buffalo's up here somewhere. Dude, there's so many people live right here. Like, it's pretty nuts, especially right there. It's nuts real. Absolutely crazy, dude. Like, once again, we were looking at Google Earth as this exact thing a second ago, but it's one thing to see it on Google Earth. It's another thing to see that. That's super freaking cool. That's all the way to DC, dude. That's Boston to DC right there. And then even down into North Carolina. So DC, there's Virginia right here. That's down into North Carolina. There's the outer banks are over here. Which means that's Newport News in Norfolk right there. And that means the Chesapeake Bay Bridge goes right here. Dude, that's crazy. There's so much in this damn picture. Aerospace news, Dean, if you want. Bangor, St. John, and Moncton are in the top right, big 3 dots. Yep. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, that's great. Look, you can even see a little bit of Nova Scotia right there. That's what we were looking at a second ago. Actually, no, Nova Scotia would be up here. That's Nova Scotia right there. Up at the very top. Dude, that's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm geeking the frick out over this. I love maps. Maps are like a guilty pleasure of mine. Cleveland is too far. Cleveland would be like way over here. We can barely see Pittsburgh in this picture. Actually, I said that that would have been Albany and Schenectady. That's not right. Albany would be over here somewhere. Which means that's probably Rochester or Syracuse right there. That means that that's Burlington up there. It's hard to make that. Yeah, that would be Burlington, and that means that's Montreal. Damn, dude. There is a lot of cities in this picture. Right? Am I looking at this right? If that's Springfield, right? Providence is right there. Hartford is right there. Manchester is right there. That means New Hampshire-Vermont border is right here. Yeah, that's all the way up into Montreal, dude. That's got to be Montreal right there. Look, so all systems look. You could see a dark spot that goes up, that curves. That's the river, dude. Look at that. What the actual frick? You could see a lot from 700 kilometers up. Yeah, no crap, dude. Yeah, dude, you could see a curve. You can see a curve around the river up there. That's freaking Montreal. What the heck? What the frick? That's an awesome picture. I'm really happy thank you for getting on my butt about taking a screenshot of that. That's super cool. I don't want to spend the rest of the stream like tracing it. Oh, I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, dude, for real. Oh, bro, you can see Manhattan. There it is. That's awesome. You can see the East River. There's the East River right there, and there's the Hudson. That's crazy. Dude, see this bright light right there? The bright light at Midtown frickin' or Uptown Manhattan? That's Times Square. And then there's a dark spot. Frickin' Central Park. No way. I mean, dude, the places line up. Yep, that's DC. There's the Potomac. See it right there. So Lincoln Memorial would be right there. Washington Memorial's there. Jefferson Memorial's there. White House is there. Capitol Building's over here. Yeah. That's right. That's crazy, dude. Wild screenshot. All right, guys. I got to keep working on the side project for NSF, so I hope you guys enjoyed the launch coverage and that kind of an impromptu space news there. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. When's our next rocket launch happening? There is a Soyuz that's going out. So Volga Cosmos is going out of the Plesetsk Cosmodroma Plesetsk. Rocket nosit el Soyuz Volga Cosmos. It's launching out of Plesetsk at 11 tonight. That's not being streamed, though. So we're in a little bit of a dry spot for the rest of the week. The next Falcon 9 launch is Starlink 12-9 out of Slick 40 on Friday at 1:50 p.m. Eastern. When will you tell us what it is? I'm working on a video for NSF, okay? Working on a video. It's a STEM video that teaches you things about stuff. God. Like what? Rockets. Rockets. I like stuff and things. Dude, me too. Dude, we should hang out. 3 days is a dry spell, goalie. Yep. I like stuff. Stuff is cool. No, I'm working on a video. I'm working on doing a Oh, Joe, you sent me that thing on Twitter. Hold on 1 second. You got that second stage going by? Ah. Oh, that's during ignition. Oh, whoa. That's the engine cutoff right there. Crazy. Nice shot, Joe. That's awesome, dude. What's the title of the video? Essays in Patience? Yeah, how'd you know? Always enjoyed your stream, brother. Thanks for the coverage. I get out of this hospital tomorrow. You made it today go by a lot more pleasantly for me, so thanks again. You can see more of the coast at 144.50. I'll have to look at it more. All right, dudes. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to go back to working on this video, and I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, Wednesday, right? So we got the whole day open. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at noontime. I don't know what we'll work on tomorrow. Figure something out. Maybe we'll play hearts or something. Kerbal. Got a bunch of things that we could do. How to make pudding. Yeah. Work on the pillar. Sure. If we wanted to. Thanks for the launch coverage. Take care. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll figure out what I'm going to do. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.